And it's really the agents that seem like they aren't doing a whole lot to make the transaction go smoothly are typically the best agents there are. Hey there, welcome to my journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Today, I want to get into, I just had a pretty busy day. I just came this morning, went out 9 a.m., had a closing, and had a couple other things going on, and randomly, I reached out to someone that we were going to have coffee. One of the agents that was with me not with me at both previous companies, but they were at both previous companies while I was there. And one of them was with me in my downline at my previous company. And we just met for coffee. I reached out and said, hey, how you doing? Looking for coffee? Or when are you good for coffee? Because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. And she's like, I'm good in like 45 minutes. So we went, met up, and we're having a conversation about a couple different things. My favorite part about this is that there's no recruiting happening here. It is collaboration, sharing stuff. You know, she sent me two different links to videos on things like, you know, mental strengthening and things like that. So, but anyways, we were chatting, and I was kind of telling her what was going on today in the transaction that I have. Well, I had a walkthrough last week for this home that we were trying to close like a week early, essentially. And I got there, and one of the items that we asked to be fixed, got fixed, but it was actually worse than, they repaired one leak, another leak popped up, and this is on the irrigation, so it's not like it's leaking in the house or anything. But it popped up, went out there, gonna close early, then all of a sudden that's not done yet. Then now we're gonna push it back to the regular closing date. So now we're not closing early. So we go there yesterday, they repaired it, but now it's worse than it was originally. So it's still leaking. So they said, okay, we're gonna go out there 9 a.m. this morning and do it again. So they went out there, did it. I went back out there. When I say back out there, it's if here in Vegas, like pretty much you get anywhere within 30 minutes typically. But this one is about that long, about 35 minutes to get there. So it's not completely like draining, right? So it's not like, oh my God, I drove for 2.5 hours. But it is kind of a distance, you know, locally to drive for 30 minutes is kind of a far distance for people to go. And again, I know other markets, like when I lived in Washington State, I mean, driving for 30 minutes was nothing. So I'm definitely not complaining, but I'm just kind of trying to paint the picture here. But went back out there. So we had the signing today. So I was out there yesterday, came back. They're going to fix it at 9. We went and had the signing. I went out to check it again to make sure that it was done, and it still hadn't been, it was fixed again, and then wasn't working. And then we had to have them come back out, and then my buyer met with the handyman that was doing it, so if there's any issues going forward, he's there and has the ability to help her out, which I thought was really cool. I thought that the agent did a great job with that. But I was explaining this to my agent friend. We were talking about like the agents that are like the challenge here is that you know, a lot of people don't know what agents go through. They think that they showed a home one time and they're cashing these amazing checks and all the money's great. And obviously as an agent, we know that that's not necessarily correct. But what's funny is that, because we've seen this all the time, like people will list somebody's home and then they'll sell it like in a day or 2, 3 maybe. And then the seller is upset because they didn't do enough work because they sold it too early. It's like they tie the value of the agent to how long they're working for them, which is, I guess like thinking about it, it's not that rare to have that mindset, right? You'd be like, well, you came in here and he worked for, it was on the market for 30 days, did a couple open houses, did all that, and it ended up finally selling. Well, then you have to ask yourself, like, would you prefer that you got a couple open houses in there in 30 days for your work, and maybe it sold for $10,000 less than what it would have sold for in the first day, or even maybe it sells for the same? But would you have preferred to be on the market for 30 days and got your money's worth full of like open houses and leaving and things like that, or have it sold on day one for the same price? And it's an interesting question, because you do instantly, we all do this, I'm sure, for all types of industries, and look at somebody, be like, well, they didn't work on it that long. Then I've seen very, very great arguments is that, yeah, it's not, you're not paying me for what I'm doing right now. You're paying me from what I've learned over the entirety of my career, that that you're going to benefit from that 1-day sale instead of the 30-day sale, because we priced it correctly, marketed it correctly. You know, I have a database of buyers and things like that. But it's interesting, kind of what we were talking about is that some of the best agents out there are the ones that make it look like they're doing nothing. And it sounds stupid, but I've been on transactions where every single thing that came up, the other agent like completely freak out about and cause a whole, like this big mess, like just all kinds of craziness over nothing, like over like very little things. This right here, the agent on this was great, was completely open to getting things fixed and being there. She actually met with my client there. She offered to meet with her because I was trying to come back later today, but I had another appointment that I had to go to, so I couldn't make that move at that time. And she said, well, I'll go in and just say hello to her and kind of show her everything that's going on. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But the reality is that we typically, I mean, in my opinion, as we are working with buyers and sellers, there's so many different pitfalls or things that could happen. Like the appraisal comes in low, or you know, whatever, the inspection comes back. Like inspection comes back, and you know, what are we going to ask the other side for? Anything to be fixed, anything like that. But the goal is to not freak out the buyers and sellers, right? Like to me, in my opinion, the agent needs to be a buffer in between those two, or in between what's happening and the client, and not, obviously you're going to disclose everything that needs to be disclosed. I'm not saying don't disclose things, but I have seen agents at times like kind of throw fuel on the fire, like if something isn't going well, and then go tell their client something that might not even be relevant. But the best agents that I've seen and that I've worked with have that like the bedside manner. I'm not comparing us to doctors or anything like that, but the bedside manner of being like, okay, that's why I love my Luke Metz is my the home inspector that I love to work with. He is one of the best, in my opinion, to let somebody know what's going on. Hey, this is what's happening. This is what this thing is for, or this is what's wrong with this thing. This is what this thing is for. You may need to replace it now, or you may need to replace it in 10 years, whatever it is. He's very good at letting them know that. And that's what I think a lot of the best agents are. And it's kind of a double-edged sword though, because some of the best agents are making it look effortless and look like their hair is not on fire. And so then people start to think, well, oh, they get paid too much because these agents are making it not look like as if they are not doing anything, but making it look like everything is just completely smooth. And then people are wondering, hey, like how come, like where is the 30 days of work or whatever? Where's my 4 open houses? Well, we didn't need them because we did this correctly to begin with. So pat on the back. I applaud you, agents that make it look effortless and easy. And I know it can't always be done that way. There's a lot of variables. Of course, the things that happen, the clients that we have, you know, the scenarios, I'm sure the states that you're in, the markets that you're in, a lot of different things can change those things. For instance, like today, you know, we got to sign off, you know, when my client's signing, you've got to sign off that you're not in a flood zone. Like we're not in a flood zone here, or in most places in Vegas, we're not in a flood zone, but in some parts of the country, like probably the whole town or city might be in a flood zone. So I know that there's different, geographically speaking, there's different things that could come up in those areas. But yeah, so just wanted to point that out, that a lot of these top agents out there are, and top agents, I don't mean by numbers, transactions, volume, GCI, anything like that. I mean top agents that are making it look effortless and keeping their clients calm throughout the process. So if you're one of those, congratulations. If you're not, you should aspire to be one of those, in my opinion. But all right, I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great one.